This is level J, list 10, and we're doing the day 1. So we've got, at the end of all of these words, the sound, ER. It's more of a schwat sound though. We tend to go It's like a grunt sound that we give it. So rather than saying letter, we often say letter. But it should be pronounced So colour in the ER at the end of all of these words. One colour. Then you're going to need a few colours for this list because we've got quite a lot in it. Now, the vowel at the start of all these words is a short vowel. So we've got o, I, a. After the short vowel, if it's a multisyllabic word, we've got to put 2 consonants. So we've got 2 T's, 2 P's, 2 M's, 2 B's, 2 N's, 2 D's, 2 T's. Now, apart from all of that, there's another thing we've got to look at here. We know, if we look at these first letters, they're pretty easy, but we get down here and we're revising the CH as well. So the words are letter, better, butter, gutter, supper, summer, robber, dinner, ladder, chatter. Let's have a look at what these words mean. So a letter could be a letter of the alphabet, or it could be a letter that you post to someone. Better could mean that you've been ill and now you feel better, or it could mean that you've got better at doing something. Butter is something that you might use to cook with or put on bread. Gutter, it's a dairy product too, by the way. Gutter is how we get the rain off our roof. It flows into a gutter and then sometimes it goes down a pipe into a tank or into goes somewhere, maybe even on the ground. Gutter is also on the side of the road too. It's a place where we collect the water when it rains. Supper is a meal we have at night time, or it could be if you're going to a party and they said there'll be supper, it would just be like a little bit of food after dinner. Summer is when we like to go to the beach. It's hot, there's not a lot of rain usually, and it's quite a fun time to do lots of outdoor things. A robber is someone who steals things. They take things that don't belong to them. Dinner. Now, in Australia, we quite often say dinner is the evening meal, so it's where you sit down with your family at the table and eat together. It's usually a bigger meal. Ladder is something that you use to climb up to get to perhaps clean out the gutters on the roof or something. So it's a way of getting to a higher point. Chatter is when we talk. It's continuous and it's just quite general usually in nature. Okay, let's read the words, sound the words, spell the words and write them. So we've got letter, ul, et, ul, et, ul, et, L-E-T, T-E-R, L-E-T-T-E-R, L-E-T-T-E-R. Now you could, if you wanted to, say double T. It's up to you what you find easier to remember how to spell the words. Okay, so remembering all of these words, because we've got that short vowel, we're always doubling the consonant after it in this it's 2-syllable word, and we're adding the schwat sound to the end. If we said it correctly, it would be so maybe while you're spelling them you say but generally during the day when you're just talking to your friends, you're probably going to make that schwat sound let up. But just to make the spelling easier, do try to make that sound at the end. You can finish those on your own. This is level J, list 10, and we're doing the day 2. And our words today are letter, better, butter, gutter, supper, summer, robber, dinner, ladder, chatter. So we're looking at the ER on the end of all of these words. And it's making the sound, but quite often we give it a schwat sound where we give it a grunt sound. So rather than saying letter, we might say letter. Better, we might say better. So just be aware of that. If you want to make the spelling of these words easier, then make sure you pronounce that at the end of these words. Now you'll also notice all of these words have a double letter in the middle, and that is because the vowel before that is a short vowel. So these are all short vowels. O, it, a. So if you saw these words when you were writing, you would know to make that first vowel sound short because it's got two consonants after it. There's a little bit more in this list too, not a lot, but you can see here we've got the ch sound here, CH making the ch sound. So if we were going to split these words, then we would split them into syllables between the two consonants. So that's where we'd be splitting them. So we'd have let, ter, bet, ter. So we're closing this syllable with a consonant because that is a short vowel. So after a short vowel, we like to close the syllable with a consonant. If it's a long vowel like so any R-controlled vowel is a long vowel sound, we leave it open. So this is an open syllable, that's a closed syllable. It all depends on whether it has a short vowel or a long vowel in that syllable. So we know every syllable has to have a vowel. Alright, let's have a look at the meanings of these words. So a letter is something we write. Better is when you want to improve on something or do something a little bit more. Butter is something we spread on our bread. A gutter collects the water off our roof or on the edge of a road. Supper is quite often a snack we might have after our evening meal. It's only a little bit of food. Summer is that season of the year when it's nice and hot. A robber is someone who steals something. Dinner is the evening meal. A ladder is something that you use to climb up high. And chatter is to talk a lot. So here you've just got to finish off the words by adding the ER, and then you're going to use these words to write them in the right space here to match their meaning. So be careful. So something we write would be a letter. So a letter could actually has two meanings. It could be a letter of the alphabet, or it could be a note, a message we write to someone else. Okay, down the bottom you have to fill in the gap with the missing list word and add had or d. You had better not, something here, in class. You had better not chatter in class. Now here we're using that contraction, so we're using the d instead of writing had. We had better not put too much something on your bread, too much butter on your bread. So rather than writing the word had, we've joined we and had together. Where we've taken out the HA, we've put an apostrophe. So all you have to do in there is put the D, because we've already put the apostrophe there for you. So be careful as you finish these, that you're aware that you might have to write had, or you might just have to write the contraction for had. Right, you can finish that on your own. Don't forget to read the words, sound them, spell them and write them. So we'll just quickly do one before we go. Letter. Now we do this as syllables, so we go letter, L-E-T-T-E-R. And if you add a bit of rhythm to it, it makes it easier to remember. Then check it to make sure it's correct. Off you go. This is level J, list 10, day 3, and we're adding to the end of these words with ER. So we've got letter, better, butter, gutter, supper, summer, robber, dinner, ladder, chatter. So quite often we don't pronounce that ER as we should at the end of the word, which makes it a bit tricky to spell, and we give it a schwat sound. So a schwat sound would be, make it sound like this: letter, better, butter, gutter, supper. So to make the spelling easier, it is ideal if you can pronounce that er at the end of these words. Now you can see in all these words we've got a double consonant before the er, and the reason we have a double consonant because all of these vowel sounds are short. We've got o, a. We've also got the revision of the ch for the ch sound there. Now this is one of the most important rules that you're going to learn in spelling, and so most words, most multisyllabic words follow this rule that if you have a short vowel sound, you must close the syllable with a consonant. So in all of these words we're actually splitting them between that double letter. So we've got letter, better, etc. And the er is the most common way of writing that sound at the end of the word. So let's read those words, sound them, spell them, and then write them. So we've got letter, let-ter, L-E-T-T-E-R, cover it and write it. And then check to make sure that you've spelt it correctly. Down here we've got comparatives and superlatives. So just remember that when we compare two things, we add to show that one means more than the other. And if it's more than two things, we call it a supergroup or superlatives. And then we add est to indicate the most of a bigger group. So you'd have, this is quite a different one. Normally we just add the and add the est, but this one is different. We've got good, better, and best. So actually changing the whole word for the base word and the superlative and the comparative. Now in this we've got to find the mistake in each of these sentences. So find the mistake and rewrite the word correctly. I'll do the first one with you and then I expect you to do the rest on your own. You might want to go through first of all and find the incorrect word with your highlighter and then go back and write the words in. So the police were busy with all the robberies in town. I know that this word is wrong, it looks wrong, and when I think about the rules, I know that I must change, if there's a consonant before the Y, I must change the Y to an I and then add ES. So I'm going to write rob, change the Y to an I and add your ES. Now they might not all be plural nouns that you have to change. You're going to have to work out where the error is in each word. There's only one word in each sentence that's wrong. Highlight it and write the word correctly on the end. Down the bottom here it says write the noun. So have a look at these words and think what would be hot, could be hot and roasted. I think it might be dinner. So you might have a hot roast dinner. You just have to write the noun in for each of those adjectives. Down here you've got to find the word that finishes this. So you're combining it with the list word, something fingers. You could have butterfingers. Butterfingers means that you keep dropping things. Doesn't mean to say you really got butter on your fingers, but if you did make them slippery and you'd probably drop things too. You can finish off the rest of those combinations on your own and take the time to read this little saying down the bottom. This is level J, list 10, and we're doing the day 4. And today we're going to teach you how to write a letter. So this says, meet letterman Larry. That's him there. And this is a letter that he's delivering. So it says October 15th, 1990, Dear Drake. So you put the date first, you put who it's to on a line all on its own, and you finish it with a little comma. This should be a capital letter, and we know we always put a capital letter for someone's name. We also have to put a capital letter for the name of a month. Now you start the letter underneath the dear, whoever it's to, and it's I hope this letter finds you well. So usually you start with a common greeting, like, I hope you're well or something like that. Then if every time you start a new topic, you start a new line. So something very exciting has happened. I have moved to a new school. I'm happy as I've always wanted to go there. You know how much I love making new friends. I hope you'll visit me again in the holidays. From, now from goes on a new line and we put a comma after the from, and then your name goes on the next line. So you haven't got too many lines here, so you won't be able to write a very long letter to your friend. So once again, the date you write the letter, so you put that date in here. We might put May, today's date for me is May 18th, 2020. I'm going to write a letter to my friend. Dear Kim. Then I put a comma after that. Then I start writing over here. I hope you are well, or something like that. And then you can talk about what you want to in your letter. Down here, when you get to the bottom, you write from, capital F, comma once again, and then your name goes at the very bottom. Put your first name and your second name if you can, and write whatever you like in the middle.